Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. When I married Laura, she was already knee-deep in the world of online gaming. Night after night, she'd be glued to her screen, her headphones on, lost in distant galaxies or ancient, war-torn lands. It wasn't my world, but it was hers, and she loved it. She'd stream her sessions live, a small community of followers watching every move. The money was trivial, but for Laura, it was never about that. She wanted to connect, to share her passion. Over the last month, however, something changed. Her follower count skyrocketed, and so did her enthusiasm. Finally, my beloved has succeeded, I thought, watching her name climb the leaderboards of streaming fame. Hey, check this out. Laura called out one evening, her face illuminated by the glow of the screen. I broke 1,000 viewers today. That's amazing, babe. I responded, peering over her shoulder. The chat on her stream was a frenzy of emojis and exclamations. She was a star in her virtual cosmos, and I was genuinely proud. You know, I think I might actually be able to turn this into something big, she mused, her fingers dancing over the keyboard. Maybe even quit my day job. That sounds incredible, Laura. You're doing what you love. As the days passed, her streaming hours grew longer, often stretching into the early morning. Our conversations dwindled, our interactions brief and distracted. I attributed it to the rush of her newfound popularity. I wish I had delved deeper, asked more questions, noticed how often she locked the door to her game room when she used to keep it open. One night, as I lay in bed waiting for the familiar sound of her footsteps, a nagging curiosity pulled me out of bed. I tiptoed to the door of her game room, expecting to hear the usual explosions and battle cries from her game. Instead, there was laughter, not the light, joyful kind but something more intimate, more private. A chill ran down my spine. I pressed my ear against the door, my heart pounding in my chest. There were voices, not from the game, but from her. I'm so glad you could join me tonight, Laura's voice, soft and flirtatious. I strained to listen, my breath held tight in my lungs. Another voice responded, a man's voice, smooth and low. Me too. I've been looking forward to this. Panic gripped me, a cold sweat breaking across my forehead. I wanted to burst in, to confront her, but instead, I found myself retreating to the shadows of our hallway, my mind racing. The betrayal cut deep, not just her words, but the intimacy in her tone, the excitement that had long faded from our conversations. The next morning, Laura was her usual self, bright and cheerful, as if the night before had been just another session of gaming. I smiled through my turmoil, a plan forming in my mind. I needed to know more, to see with my own eyes what was happening behind that closed door. I decided to watch her next stream, not as a husband, but as an anonymous viewer, ready to uncover the truth about Laura's secret world. As the reality of her betrayal sank in, my heart hardened. I wasn't just going to sit back and watch my life unravel. I needed to act, to reclaim some semblance of control. And I knew exactly where to start. The day after the chilling discovery, I call in sick at work. My hands tremble as I prepare to delve into Laura's online world, a realm I've realized I know nothing about. I set up my laptop in the quiet sanctuary of our living room, far from Laura's locked gaming room. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I create a new, anonymous account, a silent witness to whatever Laura is truly up to. Hey, are you going to watch my stream tonight? Laura breezes into the room, her hair tossed casually over one shoulder. I've got something special planned. Sure, I managed to say, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. I'll catch it online. Her smile lights up her face, a stark contrast to the dread filling my heart. As she retreats back to her den, I log onto her streaming channel, my stomach nodding as the viewer count ticks upwards, 2,000, 3,000. The chat buzzes with excitement. The stream starts, and there she is, but it's not the Laura I know. She's dressed provocatively, her usual gamer attire replaced with something far more revealing. The room behind her isn't filled with the glow of alien landscapes or fantastical worlds, it's dimly lit, the ambience intentionally sensual. "Welcome, everyone," she purrs into the microphone, and a flood of comments lights up the screen. Heart emojis, lewd suggestions, a side of her audience I've never seen. Then, he walks into frame, a tall, muscular man with a smirk that doesn't quite reach his eyes. My heart stops. It's Derek, my own friend, someone I've invited into our home on countless occasions. "Laura, you look incredible," Derek comments, settling beside her, far too close. The stream explodes with cheers and more suggestive comments. "I thought we could try something different tonight," Laura says, her hand resting on his knee. The interaction is intimate, too intimate. I watch, frozen, as they engage not in gaming but in a flirty, increasingly explicit exchange. It's not just a betrayal, it's a spectacle, with thousands watching. I capture screenshots, evidence of the deceit. Halfway through, I can't stomach it anymore. I slam the laptop shut. Rage courses through me, betrayal turning to action. I need allies, evidence, something more than just digital screenshots. I grab my phone and dial Mark, another mutual friend who's always had my back. "Mark, I need you to log into Twitch right now." "It's Laura's channel," I say, my voice tight. "Why? What's going on?" His concern is palpable. "Just do it, please," I plead. "I can't explain right now, but I need someone else to see this." Minutes tick by, each second an eternity as I wait for his call back. When he does, his voice is filled with disbelief. "Man, I saw it. That's not gaming, that's... What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," I admit, a mix of anger and sadness choking my words. "But I'm going to expose her. This ends now." As I end the call, resolve settles over me like armor. I won't let this deception continue, not under the guise of gaming, not under my roof. I start planning, every move calculated. The stream, the audience, they'd see the real Laura soon, and I'd be the one to show them. The betrayal would be public, and her double life would collapse as spectacularly as it had risen. The stage is set, and the audience is waiting. My hands are steady as I sit down to plan Laura's public downfall. The evening air feels heavier as I open up my laptop again, this time to connect with an old college buddy, Tony, who works in digital forensics. If anyone can help me uncover more dirt and ensure the exposure is flawless, it's him. "Tony, I need a favor," I begin, my voice low, a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. "Anything, man. What's up?" His tone is casual, but it shifts as I outline the situation. "You serious? Laura's doing this?" Tony's shock mirrors my own from the night before. "I need everything, IP logs, chat records, viewer stats." "Can you get them?" "Give me an hour," he replies with a resolve that bolsters my own. As Tony digs into the digital trail, I pull up Laura's streaming schedule. Her next live session is tomorrow night. That's my window. My plan is simple and brutal. I'll confront her live, on stream, expose her infidelity in front of her audience. It's harsh, but it feels just. As I mull over the details, Mark calls back. "I've got a way to broadcast your side live, to hijack the stream," Mark explains, his voice grim. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "It's the only way she'll understand the consequences," I reply, my resolve hardening. "Okay, man. I'll set it up. Just make sure you're ready." The next day is a blur of preparation and dread. Tony sends over the records, evidence of everything. The scale of Laura's betrayal, the depth of her deception, it's all laid out in cold, digital facts. As night falls, I position my laptop in our living room, the room that once felt like a shared sanctuary. I log into the system marked Setup, a backdoor into her streaming channel. My heart pounds as the clock ticks toward the moment of truth. Laura's live session begins, and I watch as thousands log in, oblivious to the drama about to unfold. "Welcome back, my loves," Laura's voice is sultry, confident. The chat explodes with adoration and emojis. She doesn't know I'm watching, ready to cut in. Derek is there again, his presence a visceral reminder of the betrayal. They laugh and flirt, their audience eating it up. This is it. I take a deep breath and activate Mark's backdoor link. Suddenly, my face replaces Laura's on the stream. The chat goes wild, confusion and caps lock questions flooding the screen. "Hello, everyone," I start, my voice calm but loud, commanding attention. "You know me as Laura's husband. What you don't know is what's really been happening in these streams." I lay out everything, the screenshots, the logs, the intimate betrayals. Laura hears me and rushes into the room, her face a mask of shock and rage. "What are you doing?" she screams, trying to take control of the situation, but it's too late. The evidence is overwhelming, and her audience is turning. "This is who you've been watching. This is the real Laura," I conclude, my statement hanging heavy in the air. The chat is a mix of support and backlash, the digital crowd chaotic and unforgiving. Laura's face crumples as she realizes the magnitude of her exposure. "You ruined me," she whispers, the fury in her eyes making me flinch. "No, Laura," I reply, my voice softer now, the adrenaline fading. "You did this to yourself." As I end the stream, the silence in our house is deafening. The fallout from tonight will be catastrophic, but necessary. I close my laptop, the screen going dark, mirroring the uncertainty of our future. The next steps are unclear, but one thing is certain: nothing will ever be the same. The days following the explosive revelation are quiet, unnervingly so. Laura moves out temporarily to stay with a friend, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the remnants of our shattered life. The echo of her last words, "You ruined me," haunts the now too silent halls of our home. I expect anger, recriminations, or a desperate plea for reconciliation, but there's nothing. Just the quiet. I spend my days in a daze, going through the motions at work and home, feeling the weight of both my actions and her betrayals. It's during one of these long evenings, as I sit flipping through old photos of us happier, that my phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old cafe on 5th, tomorrow at noon." There's more to the story. T. The signature, T, could only be Tony. What more could there be? With a mix of dread and curiosity, I decide to go. That night, sleep is elusive, every scenario playing out in my mind. The cafe is crowded, the buzz of conversation a stark contrast to my internal turmoil. Tony waves from a corner booth, a serious look etched across his face. "Thanks for coming," he starts without preamble. "I didn't want to say this over the phone." "Just say it," I urge, not sure if I'm ready to hear more yet unable to bear the suspense. "It's about the stream, the one where you exposed Laura." He pauses, sifting through the documents he brought along. I did a deeper dive into the traffic and some of the financials. It wasn't just a fling or a side hustle for Laura. "What are you saying?" I prompt, my heart starting to race. She was approached by a company, big in the adult streaming industry. They funded her setup, pushed for certain content. She started getting threats when she tried to back out. They have a lot of control, and she was scared. The pieces start to fit together, but the picture they form is so different from what I had imagined. Laura had been manipulated, cornered into a dark corner of the internet. Why didn't she just tell me? The question feels hollow, even to my own ears. Embarrassment, fear, maybe she thought she could handle it. Tony shrugs. I don't know, man. But I thought you should know the whole story. Armed with this new understanding, I leave the cafe with a heavy heart. Laura had been wrong, but not in the way I thought. I had exposed her, yes, but I hadn't protected her. I find myself driving, almost on autopilot, to her friend's place where she's been staying. Laura answers the door, wary, her eyes red-rimmed. She looks like she's been through a war, and in a way, she has. Laura, we need to talk, I begin, my voice steady. I know about the company, the threats. For a moment, she just stares, and then her defenses crumble. I was so scared, she admits, her voice cracking. I didn't know how to tell you. When it all started, it seemed so simple, just extra money for streaming. But then, it all changed, and I was in too deep. The confession hangs between us, heavy and more painful than the initial betrayal. We spend hours talking, untangling the web of lies and fear that had ensnared her. Weeks turn into months as we navigate the complexities of forgiveness and rebuilding trust. It's not easy, and some days it feels impossible, but knowing the full story changes everything. We attend counseling, separately and together, and slowly, a new version of our relationship begins to emerge, one built on deeper understanding and renewed commitment. The final twist comes unexpectedly one evening, as we sit watching a documentary about online privacy and exploitation. Laura turns to me, her hand finding mine, squeezing it tight. Let's use our experience to help others, she says with a determination that reminds me of the woman I fell in love with. We could start a campaign, work on legislation, make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to someone else. It's a surprising suggestion, but it feels right. Together, we could turn our pain into something meaningful, something good. It's a project, a purpose, and perhaps, a path to redemption, for both of us. The surprise isn't just in the new beginning but in the hope that, together, we can help rewrite not just our story, but the stories of others caught in the shadows of the digital age.